The brain is an organ of places. Different areas handle different functions. There is a motor area of the brain so we can move, a vision area so we can see. Even our most cherished memories begin in specific places in the brain. Now that we know the history behind our journey, we can begin our exploration of this vast and largely undiscovered territory, the landscape of the mind. I wonder what it would be like if I could walk through the brain the way I can hike through Utah. I find the comparison quite striking. The brain has bumps and grooves, the same way this land has mountains and canyons. The brain is shaped by experience over the course of a lifetime, the same way this land is shaped by wind and water over countless lifetimes. One is made of genes, the other geology. When I compare the anatomy of the brain to the geography of Utah, it helps me understand that the brain is a place. We can go to these places, we can see how they connect, we can even photograph them. There are two areas in the brain that are important in addiction. One is deep inside, the midbrain. The other is on the outside. It's called the frontal cortex. If we landed on the surface of the brain, we would find ourselves walking on the bumps and grooves of the cortex. The bumps are called gyri, and the grooves are called sulci. 500,000 years ago, the primate brain exploded in size to become the human brain that we have today. As the brain grew, it folded on itself, so it had more surface area, and that's why the brain is wrinkled. All of our conscious lives, all of that thinking, feeling, and speaking, everything we see and hear and taste and touch occurs here in the cortex. Our memories are here, carved somehow into the brain, like these petroglyphs left by the Native Americans, or these names carved into the rock by the Mormon pioneers. But the parts of the cortex that we're interested in, the bumps and grooves that matter most to us, are up there. It is the triumph of evolution, the frontal cortex. Morality, judgment, personality, all the things that make a conscious, self-aware being are realized up here in the bright sunlight of rationality. It's up here in the frontal cortex where we evaluate the world, where we weigh options and understand consequences. This is where choice is conceived. The frontal cortex is also where we give things emotional meaning. This is the part of the brain where we attach. So this is where a mother loves her child. This is where we love mom back. The frontal cortex is where we select our romantic partners and our friends. This is where we give things moral meaning. And this is the part of the brain where we give things spiritual meaning. It's easy to see how doctors once believed that the defect of addiction was here in the frontal cortex. If this is the thinking, loving, moral, spiritual, social choice part of the brain, then drugs must somehow break the frontal cortex to create all that nasty addictive behavior. It's a powerful idea that drugs work in the frontal cortex and that addiction is due to a moral failing or a personality disorder or a bad upbringing. There's only one problem with that idea. It's wrong. Addiction does not begin in the frontal cortex, and drugs do not begin their work up here. Where do drugs work? Deeper down, in a far older part of the brain called the midbrain.
Does someone you love suffer from drug addiction? Accidental drug overdoses are the #1 cause of unnatural deaths. Don't wait until it's too late. Call our 24/7 helpline at 1-800-648-6734. A caring addiction specialist is awaiting your call.